What's up, guys? This is Corey with the Dirt City Gym, back with another video for y'all. So today we're going to be taking a look at another deck profile. So we're going to be looking at the Scuffle Time Blue Dende Wish Leader deck. I really wanted to jump on this deck because it's starting to gain a lot of hype, and I wanted people to be aware of what to expect from it, what it does, what it's trying to do, and everything like that, so you can start developing ways to counter it or just be prepared for it in general if you sit up across from it. Kind of the potential of the deck is the potential for a turn 2 kill. While I see where it potentially can happen, I think a lot of it is people being largely unaware of what the deck is doing. I think as people are figuring it out a little bit, those turn 2 kills, while they're still possible, will be less and less frequent, but the deck still has the potential to be incredibly powerful. It does a lot of things similar to like a Storm type deck or a Super Shinron Storm type deck, where it's just playing a lot of cards, getting a lot of energy on taps and a lot of actions and things like that. So it's doing a lot of that similar type stuff. So for the most part, you should be pretty familiar with what it's trying to do. But let's get into the deck list. Alright, so first up we've got our leader. So if you're unaware, he's Dende, and then he's Son Goku on the back. On the front side, he's a Burst 2, go search for 2 Dragon Balls leader. So he can awaken pretty quickly. He also fills the drop and filters through the deck relatively quickly as well. And whenever he flips over, he grabs a wish card from the deck, or from the drop area. So he's really super similar to Shinron in that way, original Shinron. And on his backside, so he's a 15k Goku who is able to attack, which makes him a little bit better than your traditional Black Shinron or Porunga or anything like that. And then his big wish is that he untaps 2 blue energies and draws 2 cards. So traditionally, whenever you see these off-color like wish type leaders, you're not seeing the actual wish being used, because typically it's not nearly as good as take an additional turn or give something triple attack for the duration of the turn, or anything like that. But the untap 2, draw 2 is really effective for what this deck's trying to do, which we'll get into now. Moving into the list, so we got 2 of our Furthering Destruction Champa. This is just our double strike option. We run a Mira engine in the deck as well, so just being able to give him double strike to close out games is really strong. I prefer Champa generally over the Kai in decks that are just like not red, or don't have like red energy in general. And the main reason of that is just because it gets over any potential issues where you don't declare the double strike to a particular battle card, and it just saves you from those type of things. So I just don't like messing with that, but you're more than welcome to switch that out at any point. Typically people are running the Kai, but generally they're the same. Alright, next up we've got our first part of the engine, Scuffle Time Mr. Boo. So he's a 1-drop. He is from World Martial Arts Tournament set. Kind of a forgotten little engine from the set, but it does some really cool things here with the Son Goten. So he's a 1-drop, 5k barrier. He's got an auto, which honestly you'll never hardly use. It is kind of good in very like particular situations, but generally speaking you're not going to use it. But that is if Son Goten's in play. Then you can put Boo at the bottom of your deck and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and return it to their hand. So like I said, there's really situations like maybe there's an annoying blocker, a Borgos, or something like that that you can't really deal with. Boo can kind of eliminate that for you, but like I said, you're generally not going to be dealing with that stuff this early. Alright, next up we've got 3 Great Saiyaman, Hero of Justice. So this is our power booster for the blue wish leaders. So he's a 2-drop, and he's got the auto. Whenever you play him, you can search your deck for up to 2 Dragon Balls and then put them into your hand. And that hand gets, I believe you discard a card after that as well. But this is just getting to your flip side quicker. Really relevant numbers here. He's a 10k Saiyan, so he works with our Founts of Spirit that we'll get into a little bit later. But generally speaking, you're going to be flipping relatively quick anyway. So while I'm only running 3, you could potentially cut this down to 2 and you'd probably be fine. I think 3 keeps it relatively consistent though. Next up we've got Great Saiyaman Town Hero. So this is just a super combo for sparking. It's just pretty standard there. You are cutting yourself quite a bit with this deck, so you do have the potential to run the other blue super combos, the North Kai Keeping Watch, if you would like. But generally speaking, this is fine. Next up we've got Scuffle Time Son Goku, or Son Goten, excuse me. So this is really kind of the main cog of the deck. So he's a 2-drop 10k. He's got the auto once per turn. If you can take a card from your life, and then if Scuffle Time Mr. Boo is in play, you can untap him or unrest him, and then choose one of your energy and switch it to active mode, which is really strong. So basically, you get 2 swings, a 10k and a 20k, and he gets plus 10k, excuse me. So you get a 10k and a 20k swing out of a really easy to play body right here. So he's a 2-drop. He is a 10k Saiyan, so Founts of Spirit comes into play with him as well, so we can get him into play pretty quick. All in all, just this is really, like I said, this is really what the deck's focusing on. You can effectively play him for free with how the deck works with the Fountain of Spirit, and just kind of start cycling these with Founts and Go-Tins and Founts and Go-Tins, and just swing, 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 and just get multiple swings, 2 swings off a Go-Tin. Each is really strong. Next up, we've got 1 Unyielding Spirit Trunks, running a blue leader, so kind of why not? Just gives us an untap ability. Moving on, I'm only playing 1 Preface of Recovery Son Goku. Typically, you're seeing at least 2. I don't think, in what little testing that I've done, that it's been overly necessary. Typically, Bulma's where you really want to be at. But we do run 1. He has a 15k body that can kind of swing in, which isn't horrible. He does have barrier as well, so he gives us a little defense against various things like that. But generally speaking, I don't think it's overly necessary running him. You could include additional ones, but I felt it was more important to include a 3rd Crisis Crusher as opposed to the Preface. Alright, and then moving on, we got Explorer Bulma, which is really what makes the deck really tick. Just as it was in Super Shenron, she filters the deck, she untaps energy, she draws cards. So she's a 3-drop, 10k. Whenever she comes into play, you can choose up to 2 cards from top of your deck, place in the drop area, choose up to 2 of your energies and untap them, and draw up to 1 card. Majority of these are all choose effects, so you don't have to mill off the top to untap, and you don't have to untap to draw, and all that other kind of really cool stuff. If things like Borgos are in the way, or if you're low on deck size. If nothing else, she's just a free card that you can get off a Child's Wish. She's a free 10k, she's a free combo, anything like that, but really she draws cards and filters the deck is her main resource, main thing what we're looking for her for. Moving on, we've got 3 Crisis Crusher Son Goku, so this is the BCC promo. This card is pretty crucial for the deck, because we're doing a lot of things with untapping our energy, bringing cheap bodies into play, so we don't want to have to trigger things like Black Bass Saiyan or Borgos or Whis or any of those type of similar effects. So that's why I felt like it was more important to see multiple of these, to make sure you get this out as soon as possible. Again, you're trying to win turn 2, turn 3 with this deck, so you're kind of forcing them to find it early, but this just gives you an answer in case that does happen. Alright, next up we've got 2 Mira, Creator Absorb. So traditionally you're seeing like a split of a Mira and a Scientist Fu. Generally speaking, I just prefer Mira. In general, I just feel like he's just got the closing power of the game. Obviously, you need 2 energy to give him double strike, as opposed to Scientist Fu, which just has double strike for 1 energy. But I just feel like with how the deck untaps and everything like that, that should never really be a problem for you. And just being able to close out the game at 2 life is just really strong. Alright, next up, so we've got Founts of Spirit. So this is another wish card for us, or a desire card, excuse me. So 1 blue, you can put a blue Saiyan with an energy cost of 2 or less and a power of 15,000 or less from your drop area into play, and then you take the top card of your deck and put it underneath that. So what this does for us, this lets us effectively play our Scuffle Time Send Go-Tin for free. So we found a Spirit him into play, we swing with him, we use his ability, take a life. Mr. Boo's in play, so he untaps, and he untaps the energy, which just lets us play another Fountain of Spirit, and we just kind of keep that chain going. You kind of see what the deck's trying to do there at that point, but all in all, it's pretty strong. Like I said, a 10k and a 20k, just are really good, strong, big swings. And this is really the kind of card that really gets us going, probably even more so than like a Child's Wish. Alright, next up we've got 4 Senzu Bean, pretty self-explanatory, just help us untap, make our guys bigger, all that really good stuff. We've got 4 or 7 Dragon Balls, we just obviously have to have that for our leader. 3 Dragon Radar, I would like to have a 4th one here. You could potentially cut a Preface, maybe cut a Crisis Crusher for the 4th Dragon Radar. I just feel like having that consistency of always having those at your disposal when you need them is just too strong. And then finally, we've got 4 Child's Wish. So this is just really how we get Bulma into play. That's our only way to get Bulma into play. And it makes effectively Bulma free. Child's Wisher, she comes into play, we untap the energy, Child's Wish another one, so on and so forth. And you kind of get what the deck's going. Like I said, it's super similar to like a Super Shenron or something like that. Really what the deck's trying to do is turn 2, we're trying to get out the Great Saiyaman to make sure we flip. Then we can either play hardcast him or we can fount him, and then we just kind of pop off from there. As soon as we get flipped, then we can start getting our Scuffle Times. We can use our Dragon Radars, keep playing with Fount. We got our Senzu Beans, where we got our Unyielding, we're untapping energy. We got our Child's Wishes for our Explorer Bulmas and all that kind of good stuff, and we really just go from there. The deck does have a cap, obviously. You're never swinging for maybe more than 25 at a time, which isn't huge, and you're really only swinging with single strike with the exception of Mira. Really, Goten is your main swinging body. That's really what you have to defend or deal with. Obviously, the deck has ways to get multiple of them out, but just so you're aware, he's really the threat. Explorer Bulma can swing. Generally, you don't swing with the Bulma. Generally, you combo the Bulma to the Goten and make him a 15k to a 25k. And then you just kind of go from there. That way you can keep resurrecting them or killing these and all that really cool stuff there. Move on to the sideboard. So the sideboard is kind of a work in progress. I've not tested this deck just a whole ton, especially not ones where I would needed a sideboard. Already looking at it, there's already a couple cards that I think I want to change out. But as of right now, I've got 3 Borgos. He's just, again, great protection from Super Shinron and different types of shenanigans. An additional Preface, which is one of the cards I'm looking at cutting already. We've got 3 Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan. Again, he kind of helps us deal with mirrors, Super Shinron, all that kind of stuff. 2 Time Control Cronoa. I'm potentially looking at cutting these as well. This deck is trying to win so fast that really Sugesh isn't much of a concern for you, but it's just kind of muscle memory as it is right now, just to include her in all of your sideboards. Next up, we've got 2 General Tau, or Mercenary Tau, excuse me. Again, I don't know that it's overly relevant with how quickly the deck's trying to win, but it's a better, I'd rather have it than not. And then finally, we've got 3 Tien Shinhan, Returning Fire, just really good against the Mirror, Janemba, all that other kind of good stuff. Just right off the bat looking, I am missing Harmonic Energy Super Saiyan Vegeta. That gets rid of things like Promo Veku, Crisis Crusher, all that kind of stuff. So I'd probably consider either cutting a Preface and maybe a Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan or a Tien, or maybe just cut the 2 Time Control Cronoa and fit those in there. It's a great Child's Wish target, and it helps us deal with those cards that we really struggle with, like I said, the Veku, which has Barrier, and all that kind of stuff. But all in all, guys, that is the deck list. Like I said, I don't know how hot this deck is going to just take off, but it is getting an insane amount of hype like right now. This weekend kind of blew up. The deck kind of came out in the wild. People have been kind of talking about it. I've seen it in different circles and things like that to various degrees. It had a Vegito engine initially. It kind of moved around to this and that. But this is generally what you're going to see. Like I said, typically these are going to be 47 to 48 card mirrors, just a couple little additions here or there. The sideboard's kind of really where the deck will take off in terms of differences. But right now, this is kind of what to expect. I think the deck does has potential. I think that it has more pitfalls than things like a Super Shenron. I think this is far more of a glass cannon as opposed to those type of decks, but we'll kind of see how it goes. But anyway, other than that, guys, let me know what you think down below.